boys and girls, and welcome to my channel. I am Miss Kim, and I have a charming little story I want to share with you today. The title of this book is Duck and Goose Go to the Beach. It is written and illustrated by Tad Hills. In this story, Duck wants to go on an adventure. And Goose, well, not too sure. So let's begin this story and see if Duck is able to convince his friend Goose to go along, and just which one enjoys their adventure the most. Are you ready to begin? Here we go. Don't you just love it here, Duck? Goose honked. The two friends relaxed in the early morning sun and listened to the hum of the meadow. Butterflies flitted and grass swished in the breeze. Yes, I do, Duck agreed. Let's never leave, said Goose. They look pretty happy there and content, don't they? Suddenly, Duck jumped up. You just gave me the greatest idea, Goose, he quacked. Let's leave. Let's go away. What? Honk, Goose honked. Away. Let's take a trip. I don't think Goose is too sure about that. Goose gulped. A trip? A trip sounds far away. I like close. We could go on an adventure, Duck said. An adventure? That sounds scary, Goose honked. Honk. Come on, Goose. A hike might be fun, quack, Duck quacked. A hike? Said Goose. That sounds like a fine way to twist your ankle. Duck sighed. He gazed across the meadow toward a distant hill and began walking. Goose followed. I will walk, but I will not hike, he grumbled. That sounds exciting, doesn't it? He's going to go along after all. Let's see. Why would anyone want to leave this meadow? Goose wondered out aloud. It has everything right here, like this stump. Let's follow their path, shall we? This hollow log. Our ball, of course. The lily pond. The gurgling stream. And don't forget the shady thicket. Duck and Goose floated along a stream they'd never floated along before. They walked by a pile of stones they'd never walked by before, and past the biggest tree they'd ever seen. They walked across the fields and up and down hills. Wow! That's quite a walk, isn't it? By the time Goose reached the top of the highest hill, Duck was already gazing off into the distance. What's that? Quack, he quacked. What does he see? Huh? Let's turn the page. Could it be the beach? Honk, Goose honked. Duck's tail twitched with excitement. I'm pretty sure I love the beach. You've been to the beach? Asked Goose. No, not yet, said Duck, and he took off down the hill. He's running, isn't he? Follow me, Goose. We're going to the beach. Goose is hesitating, isn't he? Goose chased after Duck. "But, Duck, we already had our adventure," he called. "Wait," he shouted. "Slow down, honk, honk," he honked. But Duck did not slow down. Goose followed him through the brambles and tall grass until finally Duck stopped. "I think we have arrived at the beach," said Duck. "Look at that. What is that?" "Yeah, it looks like sand." "Oh my, the beach is loud," yelled Duck over the sound of the waves. "I can barely hear my own quack." Goose stared at the vast stretch of sky, sand, and sea. "Isn't it magnificent?" he said. "Oh dear, the beach has so much water. Quack, quacked Duck. "I feel tiny." "Have you ever seen so much sand?" Honk, honked Goose. "It's getting in my feathers, and it's too hot on my feet," said Duck. "Let's go." "Go swimming? Good idea, Duck," said Goose, and he raced to the water's edge. I think Goose is enjoying their adventure now, isn't he? Duck isn't so sure now. "No, Goose, wait for me." Duck dipped his hot feet in the water. "Goose, you know these waves are very..." "Oh, what do you think's going to happen?" "Whoa, look at that. These waves are very fun. Is that what you were going to say, Duck?" "Honk," honked Goose. "No, not exactly. They got pounded, didn't they? And covered in seaweed." Duck doesn't look very happy. The two friends strolled along the beach. They met the locals. Some were friendly, others were not. Some were shy, others were not. Look at all of them. Goose thought Duck might enjoy searching for sea creatures under the rocks and seaweed. He did not. "Be careful, Goose. You don't know what's in there." "Quack," Duck quacked. He's not too sure now, is he? They built a sandcastle, and they listened to the gentle roar of the ocean from deep within a seashell. It made Duck homesick. "It sounds just like our gurgling stream," he quacked. "Have you guys ever held a seashell up to your ear? Yeah, you can hear the ocean, can't you? It's pretty cool." "And what did they put on top of their sandcastle they built?" "Yes, a feather to top it off." Later in the day, when the sand had cooled and the waves had settled, Duck and Goose relaxed. "I like the smell of the beach," Goose said. "Me too," Duck agreed. "But not as much as the meadow." "Well, there's no place like the meadow." "Honk," honked Goose. "That's very true," said Duck. They're relaxing on the beach, thinking about home, aren't they? So in the late afternoon, Duck and Goose followed their long shadows home. They talked about their exciting day and about the friends they'd met. They talked about the hot sand and the cool water, the noisy crashing waves and the quiet tidal pools. Back in the meadow at last, they watched the sunset. Oh, how beautiful. Birds sang and grass swished in the breeze. They both agreed that it was nice to be home. "Duck, where should we go next?" Goose asked. Duck closed his eyes. "How about to sleep?" They had a busy day, didn't they? What an adventure. But you know, after we go on adventure, it's always good to go home, right? And that's what they were missing. Haven't you ever went on an adventure or vacation? And when you got home, it was like, home sweet home. Boys and girls, thank you for joining me today in this charming story, Duck and Goose Go to the Beach. And remember, a good book and your imagination will take you anywhere. Until next time, bye.